Here we go.
Hey everybody, Quinn here from the Almost Friday show, and we're out in Toronto at Polaris 25. We were here last year covering the Polaris Sci-Fi Convention, and we're back again this year. We've got press passes, so that means we get to check out some really cool press interviews with a couple of famous stars, as well as sit in on the Constellation ceremony, which is their own little way of helping give back to the community of sci-fi by awarding various shows and personalities with outstanding roles over the past year. So hang around with us and we'll give you some footage of some actors, some Constellation Awards, and hopefully a little bit what's going on this week and at Polaris.
Oh, it's going to be a train wreck. Enjoy. We're very happy to host the show. We hope we do a good job and that we don't blow. Right. But if we do, the night will still be great. Awesome presenters and nominees. On that, there's no debate. We're not going to debate that, are we?
No, they're all great. Yeah, it's great.
Like you've got Gavin Stevens, Canada's funniest geek. Robin Dunn, who loves to show his ass. Cheek to cheek. We've got Andrew Guru Data, that guy's a real peach. Nicholas Rush from SGU.
I think that guy's such a leech.
How can you argue that Colonel Young is better than Rush? That's ridiculous.
How could you argue that
Rush?
Rush is a leech? He took everything from the Destiny, gave nothing back. And
Easy. Let's get back to the song. Welcome to the Constellation Awards. We bow down to our science fiction overlord at the Constellation Awards. Who will win tonight and who will get into a geek fight? Don't push me, stop it. That hurts when we do that. Let's just get back to the song. We've got Andis from The Listener,
The guy with the dreamy eyes.
no, the other guy. Adam Baldwin, who's been known to get chucked out of a fine. We've got Kindler Tapping and McGillian from Sanctuary. Leanna Kay and Ed the
I
Saw.
hope he doesn't make fun of me.
Oh, he will. He's intimidating.
He probably will make fun
I don't want Ed the Saw to make
Which character that you've played in your career do you think pushed you the hardest to change your mentalities about acting as a character?
Wow. That's interesting. I did a movie called Smoke Jumpers, which was part of it was a television production about wildland firefighters that I felt I really had to dig deep to play that character. It was a really physical role. It was really great. So that one, and at that time I was trying to observe, I think I had seen a movie called U-Turn, Oliver Stone movie with Sean Penn and Jennifer Lopez. I remember watching that movie, looking at Sean Penn, and going, he's great, I don't know how to do that, what's he doing? So I watched the movie again, and I tried to pick up at least some of the techniques that he was doing, and so I dedicated myself at that time more to studying what really good actors were doing instead of what they were saying, their behavior. So I tried to focus more on that for film acting, and it really comes down to, I don't want to give away the secrets to that. But Michael Caine talks about it a lot, in his book, don't blink, keep still, calmness, relax. You have to load in the information, but to portray it on film, you need to do less. And if you ever see U-Turn again, Sean Penn does very little in that movie, and it's great because he's got so much information loaded in there. And you can say what you like about Sean Penn, but he's a great actor.
You've done a lot of video game voice work. How do you handle that kind of work in comparison to acting on camera?
Voiceover work is convenient. You get to go into a studio with usually very, very talented people, actors, because there's no judgment about what they look like. You can come in your pajamas, you can come unshaven, just bring a good voice and good energy. So that's been a wonderful opportunity for me. Video games, difference between, I've done cartoons and video games, difference between a cartoon and a video game is a cartoon has pretty much a script that follows storyline. And video games are a bunch of cues that fit into a storyline later depending on what options the player chooses. I'm not a gamer, but this is how it's been explained to me. So there's a lot of repetition of spouting lines, cue lines, like give me those grenades, or get over to the port, or things like that. And you got to just repeat those in the different variations of it. So that's been really the most important relationship is obviously with the director, and so I put him on the spot a lot and said, well, give me a line reading. I don't understand. Because it's hard to visualize the context of where you are in a video game, because the world is this world you're not seeing. You just have a microphone and you're in a studio. So the relationship for the director, I mean, he can give you some story art and some renderings of it, but his job is to explain the scene. That can be time consuming, so you don't want to do that too much, but you need to know whether you're yelling across a room or you're yelling across a canyon, or if you're punching someone, who's little or really struggling to punch a monster. So it's been an interesting use of imagination, to say the least. I've been lucky though. I've had very good directors. So that's why I sound good. Otherwise, I would sound great.
Okay, I am very pleased to be presenting the award for Best Male Performance in a Television Episode, a category that has historically been a source of great debate and drama and conflict at the Constellation Awards. This is the same award that 2 years ago Michael Hogan had to physically defend from my friend and nemesis, David Hewlett, and by throwing him off this very stage, I believe. In fact, if Michael Hogan were not here that year, that trophy would probably be sitting on David Hewlett's mantle right now. You know it, I know it. This year we have an interesting situation with 3 actors from Doctor Who, all nominated against each other, and one of them, David Tennant, has won this award 3 out of the past 4 years for his portrayal of the 10th Doctor. When do I get to be on the show? What the hell? This year, David is nominated against his successor, Matt Smith, as well as Tony Curran. This is embarrassing. Who's nominated for his role as the tortured painter Vincent van Gogh. Beyond the TARDIS, this category also features Sanctuary's Robin Dunn, who lost out on a Constellation Award last year by just 1% of the vote. And rounding out the category this year are newcomers Aiden Harris from Mind's Eye, the series, and some dude named Adam Baldwin from don't know. He lost my phone number. He's dead to me. So will Adam take the trophy back to the Bymore? Will Vincent or one of the doctors add another constellation to the mantle in the TARDIS? Will Robin Dunn avenge last year's loss, or will newcomer Aiden Harris upset them all? Getting rid of this. So, best male performance in a 2010 science fiction. That was frightening. Is Adam Baldwin. And he's here!
I'd like to thank Doctor Who for splitting the vote. Thanks for having me, David. Thanks for everybody coming out, and I hope you're having a good time. It's nice to see Jewel. Who's your number? Let me just remind myself. At Jewel State. Unfollow. award, and I will take it home and display it proudly along with my Jane statue with the hat on it. Right where my wife wants it out in the garage. Anyway, thanks. I really appreciate it. I'm overwhelmed. Thanks for voting for me. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, Chuck, and thanks again.
So typically with Hollywood, we're looking into fictional or sci-fi worlds, but in a TV show like Entourage, we're actually seeing what's happening behind the scenes. And I know a lot of people actually thought that TV show was partially based on reality, that it was really happening, and that some of the people were who they said they were as opposed to who they actually were. What's it like playing a role where instead of being in front pretending to be somebody, you're being someone who's pretending to be part of the industry?
Entourage is so clever. Doug Ellen, who created the show. Yes, I mean it's. I have to tell you, it's obviously it's a scripted show. I thought there was a lot more improv than there actually is, and it's one of those shows that the casting was everything came together just like a puzzle and worked very well. But I'm playing, of course, a fictitious version of Melinda Clarke. In that show, she drives a Ferrari, and I drive a Prius in real life. There's something. I just finished 3 episodes just this last month of the last season, and before that, I was only popping in for little cameos. And I was so excited to go and to do it, and I had such a great time because it felt like such a complete antithesis of, say, Nikita, where it's very much in control, and like I said, it's like a comic book, and there's the heroes and the villains, and it's more of a classic tale. And Entourage gives you the freedom to just be. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't. I mean, it does, but I love that medium, and what's required of that single camera medium. It's very relaxing, and it's funny, and it's raunchy. But I do have to. I would bet that pretty much everything that you've seen on Entourage, there's probably a better or even stranger story that's happened in Hollywood. Because I've asked people this, and I just think that I think it's confusing to people when they say, "Will you play Melinda Clarke?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm a Melinda Clarke actress, married to Malcolm McDowell, going through with hundreds of millions of dollars after my divorce." And it's like, no, that's not real. But it was an interesting show because it wasn't very popular when it started. It was very much an LA, New York kind of inside industry show, and then people started. I had family in the Midwest who just said, "Who cares? It's not interesting to us." But then people started seeing it on DVD and really getting the gist of it. I love it. I think it's a great show. I'm sad to see it go, and I told Doug Ellen, if you ever do another show like this, please let me do it, because I think that's where I really you can see I get all excited about it. It's really something, it's dramedy, and that's one of my favorite things to do, I think. And the OC taught me that. I hadn't done something like that before, so going into Entourage was a natural progression.
Hey everybody, Quinn here. We're talking to Thomas Gofton, creator of Mind's Eye. We touched base with you last year when you just sort of started off with Mind's Eye, and now we're a year later, and you guys have produced a full first season. And this year you actually were nominated for a couple of awards at the Constellations here. So tell me a little bit about what you've accomplished over the last year and what these nominations mean to you.
Well, what we've accomplished was we finished the entire first season. So, I mean, we got about 6 half-hour episodes, which we initially shot off as 24 5-minute pieces. Found out that didn't quite work out so well because fantasy takes a little while to digest, and so 5-minute episodes don't work. So we did the half-hour pieces, found that the population was growing a bit because of that. It was a successful run. I've been traveling to conventions all over America and Canada and the UK. So I've been exhibiting the show to people, sort of getting people to see what it's about, and we've been receiving a lot of positive feedback, building our our fan base. As a result, we've managed to actually attain a couple of talent, a couple of names that we're going to be aiming for the next round of the show that we're going to be shooting, which is this fall, which is kind of like a season 2, but not, because the first season, or this first show that we have, is going to be strictly web-based, more of a web series, and coming up we're aiming for broadcast. So kind of like, as your cameraman said, Sanctuary, and we're aiming for more of that kind of the next step. As for the Constellations were great. I mean, the fact that we were even nominated into 4 categories, and we were the only show of our caliber. And what I mean by caliber is in like lack of, we were compared to the other shows. I mean, when you're compared to Doctor Who and Smallville and Fringe and Lost, which are highly budgeted, popularized with names and talent all over the place, and have fan bases of the hundreds of thousands, if not millions. We were a bit humbled to be put in that position with them, because I mean, we're all sort of out of the gate trying to make it indie film guys, and although our projects are not bad per se, it's just we're not, one whole season of our budget was probably a week worth of wage on one of the main actors of Smallville, and so we were really humbled. And I think that was a great indication that we're on the right track. And from that, we've actually attracted even more attention. And so I think, we didn't win anything. I'm glad we didn't win anything, because I wouldn't know what to say if say we had beat out Adam Baldwin and he was right there. I'd just be like, Adam, you got to come take this trophy, man. But the kids were happy, the show was happy, and we got to thank the Constellations and the fans for actually putting us there, because it is a fan-run thing.
Yeah, so it being fan-run, it goes to show that really content is king. It doesn't matter whether you have a $300 million budget or a $30,000 budget. If you're producing stuff that people are interested in and engaged in, you can get the attention regardless of how much publicity you have. This was voted by fans, so they clearly thought that your series was as intriguing as the major blockbusters you were put up against.
I think so. We had a decent cast and crew, and I did have a lot of people at various conventions come up and say, hey, we voted for you guys. And I thought, oh, well, thank you. I don't even know who they are. I know their faces, but it was nice to see that there has been some sort of support, almost like voting for the underdog kind of thing. And with the next season coming up, the next round of the show, with some names attached to it and stuff like that, I think, and of course budgets rising and equipment rising, everything scaling up. Who knows? Maybe next year we might actually be back on the Constellation Awards, and maybe we'll even win something.
So really briefly, for people who didn't check out our episode last year, or who haven't seen Mind's Eye, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is?
All right, so Mind's Eye is the coming-of-age story of a young boy and his friends, his childhood friends. The difference is his childhood friends aren't actually kids. They're mystical heroes that come from various cultures and time. These heroes are called Dreamweavers, and they have the ability to manifest reality through thought. So I want to drink of water, boom, I can manifest a drink of water and it's in my hand. These guys have manifested themselves into the likeness of children to protect the main boy from 2 things: to keep things anonymous so that no one knows who they are, who he is, and to keep him ignorant as to what's going on in the world so he can have a normal life as a boy. What is actually going on in the world is there are angels and demons, or angelic and demonic-like forces, that are trying to get at this kid because they feel this kid is the omen or the trophy that will help either side win a war. And so we're playing on the philosophies of good and evil there, where, are the angels good, are the demons good? We don't know, and they're both trying to rip this kid apart, and his protectors are these mystical heroes that are representing humanity, sort of the neutral zone. So it's kind of like Harry Potter meets Stand By Me, and then like Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Final Fantasy and Dungeons and Dragons. So if you like any of that nerd stuff, you're going to love this, I hope.
All right, well, it sounds pretty good. Now, you are working on continuing the series, and you say broadcast quality, but are we still going to be able to see it on the web?
I don't know yet. I don't know if this season coming up is going to make it to the web. The rate things are moving right now, and I can't say much. The way things are sort of cooking, I don't think so. I don't know. But if it is going to be on the web, then look forward for it in the spring. It should be kind of cool to see. This season coming up, will have a completely... it'll be completely removed from the first series, in the sense that you can watch this piece as a standalone, as a first impression, and get it. But if you watch the season that's already out right now, it's like getting a whole bunch of... It's like The Hobbit to The Lord of the Rings. That's what it would be like. So we're doing the Lord of the Rings now.
And you can see all of the first season online still, correct?
You can watch the first season all online.
And where can we find that?
mindsetseries.com. You can go there. You can watch the whole show online there. There's all kinds of extra content, short stories and whatnot. And so check it out, comics and illustrations and you name it. So check it out and download our RPG and play that and do whatever.
All right, well, thanks for your time, Thomas, and best of luck with the series in the future.
Thank you, sir.
I want to ask you about the. So you went from John Crichton on Farscape and later on Cam Mitchell on Stargate, and there's a lot of parallels between the characters, but they're actually quite different. Did you find it a challenge to be Cam Mitchell and not bring over John Crichton?
No. Originally they had certain things written that were a little Crichton-esque that I wasn't. The real difficulty was that I had been playing a guy who had seen alien stuff for years and years, and now I was back to playing a guy who had never seen the alien stuff. And you sometimes have to remind yourself, because if you spend a long period of time on a set where it's quite normal for an alien to appear, you kind of stop reacting to it. You know, you do. You stop having that wonder. There was a scene in season 9, I think, where Thor appears for the first time, and Mitchell's reaction to him was, oh wait, do we really trust this guy? Because having seen the whole show, you would think, oh yeah, Mitchell would trust him, but Mitchell's not O'Neill, right? Mitchell's not a member. He has never met Thor. And they're like, wait, why are we listening to this? You looking at this? So I sort of had to remind myself at times to keep that part alive, that he's seeing stuff for the first time, and which is sort of the cool thing about it, with a different sort of wondrous reaction than Crichton had, because Crichton, I think, engaged all that wonderful stuff, and Mitchell was just slightly suspicious of it. Yeah. Mitchell's main concern was his team. He wanted his team to be safe. That was, primary for him. My team is safe, Whereas Crichton had this thing of he was sort of almost a new age kind of guy. We want everybody to be safe. We want the world to be happy. I don't think Mitchell was so concerned about that. Yeah. Mitchell would rather shoot them. Crichton only got to shooting them when he started to go a little off his normal course.
I want to ask about Bad Kids Go to Hell.
Yeah.
You got cast in that recently. Are you excited to work on something that's an adaptation of a comic book as opposed to original script?
I didn't even think about it. It's kind of fun having the comic book to refer to, but then you look at it and go, I'm not really like that guy.
I know you probably don't know too much about it just yet.
I've already done it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I finished shooting. I came back from LA the day before I came here, so I finished my 3.5 weeks or whatever it was on that show. So, is it exciting to do something which is adapted and already there? I kind of find that I had to slightly ignore what's already there.
Kind of make it your own.
Yeah, I think that I have to, because physically there are differences between me and the character that I'm playing. Also, there's limitations of me as an actor. What can I do? What can I do? That kind of stuff. So, ultimately, you hope that by making it your own, that it's going to work within the context of the story. Because, honestly, a faithful adaptation of a comic book. Let's take Batman. Well, which version of the comic book are you being faithful to? Does anybody really see Tobey Maguire as the ultimate Spider-Man? He was great. I love the movies. He's fantastic, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who went, no!
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure that, there's somebody out there that may even be disappointed with who they cast as Harry Potter. Most people won't be, but sooner or later there's that. So, you just do the best you can.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed our coverage of Polaris 25. We had a blast, and hopefully we'll be back next year. We'll cover some more stuff. We're going to get more interviews, it's more everything. We're going to have a lot more fun. So as always, if you want to contact us, the quickest way is on Twitter @almost_Friday, or you can email us for what you want us to talk about next year, and I guess critiques and comments about our show, contact at almostfridayshow.com. So until next time, hope your sci-fi stays fresh.